Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm the Soul Fox and welcome back to episode 2 of my brand new series. In today's video we will be analysing, reviewing and recapping on season 1 episode 2 of the TV show The Walking Dead. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my previous video on episode 1 in the top right hand corner to catch yourself up on the story so far. But without further ado, let's get right into episode 2. At the beginning of the episode, we are given more of an insight to the new group camped just outside Atlanta. We are introduced to two new characters, Amy, who doesn't need an important part in the story, and Dale, who is shown to be quite a crucial part of the group from the start. Laurie asks Dale to keep an eye on Carl while she goes off into the forest, alone. I think Dale needs to be more concerned about Laurie than Carl, as she seems to be more of a burden to the group than he is. Luckily, she is attacked by Shane rather than Walker. I guess he also realised how much she depends on the rest of the group for her own survival. They end up having sexy time and just forget about their responsibilities and any potential danger that may be lurking in those woods. The episode then resumes right where we left off last time, with Rick seemingly trapped inside a tank in the middle of Atlanta, surrounded by walkers. There is also a mysterious character currently in contact with him, watching from the outside. The two of them think of a plan for Rick to hop out of the tank and sprint towards an alley where this new character is supposedly hiding. Rick, with no other choices, decides to trust this person he hasn't even met with his whole life and agrees to the plan. Before leaving the tank, Rick searches for any ammunition left behind and ends up finding a fragmentation grenade alongside 15 bullets, which he puts to good use, fighting his way out of the street. However, his pistol seems to run out of ammo after just 14 shots. To this day I'm unaware where the last bullet went. Perhaps he used it to hit that like button below the video to turn it blue, but I guess we'll never know. Rick reached the alley and found the new fella, who directed him down the alley and up the side of a building. The two of them were safe from the walkers for now. Lucky bastards. This new character then introduces himself.
Glenn, I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
From this point onwards, Glenn becomes one of the centre characters for the show, being a charismatic and uplifting character who no one could dislike. Rick and Glenn make their way through and over buildings and end up in a large store. The first time Rick meets the group holed up inside the store, who are supposedly with Glenn, he immediately has a gun pointed into his face. Not a very pleasant introduction if I have to say so myself. This group consists of T-Dog, Jackie, Morales and Andrea. Andrea is shown to be the most aggressive member of the group and states that Rick has doomed them all with all the noise he made outside. It is shown that many walkers were attracted to the noise Rick made and are piling up outside the door. We also see a walker make use of a rock in an attempt to break through the glass. This is one of the only times we see walkers grab and use objects in this style. I think the show wasn't entirely sure what type of zombies they wanted to use at this point. However, I think they made the right decision with how they behave currently. The group rushed to the roof of the store to get a better view of their situation, when we meet another member of the group, Merle Dixon. Merle is presented to be a bit of a dick. He is a racist who blatantly doesn't care about anyone other than himself and his own entertainment, and is not entirely concerned about the group's survival. Merle then initiates a fight between the group, which ultimately ends with him being contained by Rick. This is the first sign of how much of a badass Rick is becoming. The group, excluding Merle of course, develop a plan to get out of the city by going through the sewers. However, while Glenn and Morales investigate the drainage tunnel under the store, they find no possible way out. Meanwhile, Rick and Andrea are guarding the front of the store. Walkers manage to break through the first layer of glass in the front doors. Time is running out and the group doesn't yet have an escape plan. After some extensive reconnaissance of the streets from above, the group decides to send Rick and Glenn to attempt to retrieve a truck to get them out of the store. However, the streets are filled with walkers, so they need to blend in with them in order to make their way to the vehicles without trouble. The group brings in a walker's corpse and take it apart to spread its innards over Rick and Glenn in order for them to smell just like walkers. Although this may be an absolutely disgusting and horrific sight, it would be a highly effective method to make your way through a horde. Kudos Rick, even though you might get some weird looks later on. In these first few episodes, Glenn is presented to be a follower who goes along with other people's plans and has less control over the group. However, his personality alters quickly for him to take more control and become a much more important part of the group. Glenn and Rick wade their way through the streets, blending in with the other walkers. However, they decide midway through to start talking at a ridiculously high level, not even whispering.
Don't draw attention.
As all the walkers around them just decided to not be attracted to sound anymore. Rick and Glenn get a fair distance away from the store. However, with almost perfect comedic timing, a storm approaches and it begins to chuck it down. This new unexpected weather begins to wash away all the walker guts that have resided on both Rick and Glenn, which would usually be quite pleasant. However, it also drew the attention of the surrounding walkers. The pair of them were forced to battle their way through the massive horde towards the locked gates, while surprisingly avoiding any injuries. They managed to get to the truck and exit the area seconds before they would have been overwhelmed. I have to be honest, the timings in this section of the episode are impeccable. From the storm to the incapabilities of the walkers up until a certain point. It's almost as if the scene has been perfectly planned out by some sort of director that has full control of the action. Rick and Glenn need another diversion to give the rest of the group enough time to leave the store unharmed. They decide to hotwire a 2010 Dodge Challenger in order to draw the attention of the walkers away from the store. However, this model of Challenger is actually unable to be hotwired, as Rick is seen using a screwdriver to get it started, as it uses push button start and a key fob system to make it anti-theft. Without the key fob present, alongside the fact that they trigger the alarm, would automatically disable the vehicle's fuel delivery system, therefore making the vehicle inoperable. But I guess Rick just has a magic touch. Anyway, Glenn drives his car around the streets, leading any walkers away from the loading doors of the store, while Rick heads to the rescue. The group prepare their getaway, packing everything away and heading to the exit. However, Merle is still handcuffed to the roof. No one is willing to let him free, leaving him to die on the rooftop. However, T-Dog turns back at the last second and decides to help. T-Dog sprints towards Merle, but trips and drops the key down a ventilation shaft, never to be seen again. Subsequently, Merle was left behind. The remaining members of the group make their way to the storage entrance, where Rick is waiting in the truck. They all enter in the nick of time and escape from the city. Now, there is no way I was going to do an analysis of episode 2 and not talk about Glenn's ride out of the city. It doesn't matter whether you like The Walking Dead or not, you can't argue that this wasn't one of the greatest scenes in the show. So, we end off this episode with the audience now being introduced to a few new characters. First of all, we have the group Rick is currently with, which consists of Glenn, Andrea, T-Dog, Morales and Jackie. However, we also do not know what happened to Merle as of yet. We also have the residents currently at the camp just outside Atlanta, who we know are also a part of Rick's current group, which are currently known to be Shane, Laurie, Carl and Amy. However, there seems to be many more people inside their group who we still haven't been introduced to yet. We are also still unaware of the whereabouts of Morgan and his son from episode 1. Thank you all so much for watching episode 2 of my brand new series on The Walking Dead. If you would like to follow along the story with me and analyse all the characters and events throughout the show, be sure to subscribe and turn post notifications on so don't miss the next episode. I hope you did enjoy, and goodbye for now.